Welcome to the Polity this beautiful day, this beautiful Tuesday. And we're coming to you live from the city of Abuja. My name is Dayo Mogun. Of course, you know the station is Kaftan Television. And we're very excited to be here. And we're excited that you're there also. You make this happen all the time, and we appreciate you. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you very much. And we say that you have this, you owe yourself and us this responsibility to tell others about what you're enjoying from this station. And of course, the program is the Polity. And usually on the Polity, we look at trending issues, and we, our guests, we take a look at it as dispassionately as possible, as objectively as possible, as rounded as possible. And that's what we're here to do again this beautiful day. On this particular episode, we will be talking about Anambra State. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in what goes on in that state right now, especially because they're on the eve. This is the eve of election, so to say. Elections will hold in that state on November 8th, 2025. That's barely some 2 months from now. 2 months from now. And so this makes it very interesting, puts the state in the glare of the entire world. And it's also a test. It's going to be a test case also for INEC. It's going to be a test case for the voters in that state. Are we going to see voter apathy, or are we going to see voter turnout? Are we going to see people who conduct themselves well, who avoid violence, who avoid malpractices, who reject vote buying and vote selling? Or is it going to be business as usual in terms of vote buying, vote selling? All that is what we will be looking at, and who are the competitors, who are the contestants in this particular race, and are there people who have some edge? And up to now, of course, we do know that incumbency has great power in Nigerian politics. Will that factor, be a factor to reckon with in this particular election? Considering also that when Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo came into office in 2021, about 4 years right now, he came in with an intimidating profile, a first-class honors degree, and did this doctorate and became a professor from University of Nsukka, and then, of course, he became governor of the central bank. When you put all that together, one expected that maybe by now Anambra would have turned to some Dubai, but maybe my guest will be able to put some light where there is some grayness, or where there's some darkness. And that's why I have this guest, who incidentally is also of that state origin, and his name is Dr. Clem Aguiyi. He is my guest on this very wonderful edition. You're welcome.
Thank you, Dayo, for having me in your studio.
Thank you very much for coming around.
Good afternoon, guests that are audience that are listening to us out there.
Right. So, Clem Aguiyi will be taking on the issues as I begin to bring them. And now, Clem, let's take a look at this. When Prof came into office as governor, with the background of the former governor of the central bank, with his intimidating academic profile, so many people, they waited with bated breath, believing that a kind of like a Daniel has come to judgment. Like, yes, this time around we've got it right. And so much was expected. Some were euphoric, some were ecstatic, and felt that, wow, the best has happened to us. But even then, there were people who also said, I mean, nothing special is going to come out of this. Now, as of today, who of those groups do you think have been justified?
Thank you for that very question. I will tell you what that missing was, that there are some things you cannot take away from a human being.
Okay.
You cannot take away the fact that Professor Soludo was, as you described him, a first-class scholar in economics, had first class at a very young age, had his PhD, and became one of the youngest professors ever produced by this country. And he was a governor of CBN, and he excelled himself. These are things you cannot take away from him. And those elements are still there, even as he governs Anambra State. He has governed Anambra State with passion, and his record in office has been very outstanding in terms of his achievement. His goals are well defined.
Really?
From the moment he was sworn in as governor of Anambra State, he wasn't second guessing. He came prepared to work for the people. And from the swearing in ceremony, he didn't go for a party. He went straight to work. And the first place he went to work is Onitsha, which was recorded by the United Nations as one of the dirtiest cities in Africa, if not the world. And he went on there and began to clean up of Onitsha. And today, if you go to Onitsha, 3 years after, people can breathe. Onitsha was losing business, losing population to Asaba in Delta State. But all those has changed. Right now, you can navigate around Onitsha. The roads are now being properly done. The sewages are cleaned up. The Sakamoric drainage has been cleaned up. The water is not, floods are no longer carrying people and their houses. Oboko is looking good. Work is still ongoing. And right now in Onitsha, you can see, if you go there yourself, you will see yourself the beauty that Onitsha is actually a beautiful city, only that the human mismanagement was there. So Soludo has come in governance in Anambra State to redefine governance in terms of good governance. And from the first time he came into office, he identified the problem of the state. And this is a government that has a destination. The destination that I mean is that he identified the fact that in this state, we need to reorientate the people, we need to re-educate the population. The first recruitment he did was to hire 5,000 teachers and additional 3,000 teachers. Because before he came in, we have
making 8,000.
Making 8,000. He didn't do it at the end of his tenure. He did it first 1 year. He hired 8,000 teachers. Why did he do that? He did that because he saw that there was a gap in the educational system. We have schools with their teachers. Public schools in Anambra State were without teachers. So people are taking their children to private schools and they're paid exorbitantly. And it's not as if these private schools are actually providing the quality education. So when he now recruited these teachers, of which the minimum is second class lower, the majority of them are second class, upper division, and first class that are teaching in public schools in Anambra State. This is to afford the people the opportunity, the children of the poor, to go to a private school and get quality education, and not to have any reason to say, I could not go to school because my parents couldn't afford it. And tuition in Anambra State is free for the primary and secondary schools.
Right now?
Yes,
for
right
primary
now.
and secondary schools.
Free.
Well, let me stop you there. One, two, three things. One, you said he did not do it at the end of his tenure. He did it when he came in. What point really are you trying to push there?
The point I'm trying to push here is this. Most governors that have ruled the state start recruitment when they're about to leave office. So that
like a political...
yes, maybe. Yes, you don't recruit anybody. You don't staff the schools. And maybe a month you're going, you begin to recruit people, maybe to leave liability for the incoming government. And by the time the incoming government comes in, he will sack those that you recruited because you have simply maxed up his burden in office by making that recruitment. I find out some of them, his predecessors, they will not conduct local government election. They will conduct local government election on the eve of their departure. But he didn't do any of this because he wasn't doing it for politics. He has a destination where he wants the government to head. And you know a man who actually wants a state to grow to prosperity by the first actions that he took. The first actions were, 1, clean up the cities. 2, staff the schools, make education work. And it's paying off. Anambra said, if you look at the percentage of performances in WAEC, JAMB, and also winning accolades and scholarships, Anambra is topping. It's paying off. The teachers in Anambra State have won anything that can be won in Nigeria in competitions. They have won the first, won the second, won the third.
Well, that may not be so distinctive, because for some time now, as far back as, if I recall, as far back as the OB tenure, Anambra has always been tops. Anambra, yeah, it's a good thing if it's maintained, but it should not. I do not think it should be presented as though it's a breakthrough.
But if it was not maintained,
yeah, no. I just said it's a good thing that it's maintained.
If it was not maintained, it would be a headline for you.
Oh, sure.
But the fact that it's maintained is not a headline.
No, it's not.
It is not just maintained. It has surpassed. It has surpassed what it was then. The percentage, the back to back, is something that should receive an applaud. It's not a joke.
All right.
It's not a joke, because the schools are now functioning, tuitions are free, everybody is having the opportunity to get that education that he desires. Anambra is a place where actually, before now, even most of the people that you talk about, like Chaben and Zikiwe, name them, Shobo Kadibo, these are people from Anambra State. So Anambra State have been known for education and enterprise.
No doubt about it, yeah.
Now, this governor recognized that this era was about to slip off our fingers. And he said no. And then he invested back in education, rebuild the schools, staff the schools, and ensure that tuitions are free. So that the kind of thing Awolowo did in the Southwest. And now people are gaining from it. That's what we're talking about.
Sure.
By the next 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, most of these people that have benefited from this will be the scholars we're talking about that will manage the future of Nigeria.
All right. Now, you talked about free tuition fee in both primary and secondary schools. Is the government also hands-on to ensure? Because what happens in many cases in such instances is that government says there is no tuition fee, but the schools go behind and collect all kinds of fees. They give them all kinds of names. It could be, it could be cutlass fee. It could be whatever. But it could be all kinds of fees so as to raise money for the schools to run. Or sometimes just out of mischief, they just want to be corrupt and they line their pockets with such monies and all that. Is government hands-on to ensure that that's not happening?
Government is hands-on on that in Anambra State. In Anambra State, when you say tuition is free,
it's free.
Tuition is free.
All right.
Even there's what they call a lesson fee, so that students can stay back after school.
Yes.
No, the governor said no. If you have been able to teach them from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, you have no business keeping them,
holding them back
up to 6 o'clock, because you want to make a lesson.
Because
fee.
if you use the time effectively, then you don't need that extra time.
They don't need extra time. So the government is hands-on on that. They're even hands-on on making sure that the curriculum of Anambra State is being reorganized, being revised, so that people who are graduating from Anambra State, by the time you have passed through school, elementary, junior secondary, and senior secondary in Anambra State, you could come out to at least 1 or 2 skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because these are the problem we have in Nigeria.
Sure, that's it.
Our schools are producing people that are certificated without skills, what your hands can do. And that's what the governor meant when he talked that he will make Anambra the Taiwan of Africa. The Taiwan of Africa is producing a generation of youths that can produce things with their hands. It's about productivity. The kind of education you get determines what your hands can do. If you go to schools and you are studying things that will not make you to be able to be assimilated into the emerging market, then you are not useful to the economy. So he's producing, rather than Anambra State, what we are trying to do is, or what the government is trying to do, is to clear the backlog of unemployed graduates by equipping them with skills, which they call 1 youth, 2 skills. These are people who have left school already. And to make sure that this is not continued, the schools now are ensuring that technical education takes premium in the state. So that by the time you finish secondary school, you have what you can produce. So you're preparing them not just for the domestic market, but ready for export. Even if you want to go out of the country, you're not going out of the country to go and become a drug peddler or a fraudster. You are going out there with a skill that you already acquired, so that you can fit into any economy. Because right now in Anambra State, we have what we call the digital hub, and they are training people, getting them ready for the IT market, which is the future market, because the future economy is AI. Anambra State is top on it under this very administration, and that is what he meant when he said, "I am going to make Anambra Taiwan of Africa." And some people ask, say, "I've not seen the Taiwan," and I say, "Don't you see the thousands of youths, 20,000, 10,000, 12,000, 30,000 being produced every year, equipping them with skills, all manner of skills that is relevant in the present and future economy." This is what is being turned out. It is these people, when they come out, when they are not equipped and they're enabled, become entrepreneurs.
So who's going to enable them? Who's going to empower them? If you give them those skills, is it not possible to also give them some seed money, some seed capital with which to begin the practice of some of those skills?
Thank you very much for also bringing that up. The state is not just providing them with funds, what they call startup funds. The state is also monitoring their performance with those startups that have been given. They're not just giving kits and equipment based on the areas of training you've gotten. They're being given seed money to enable you be able to get a space and also start up. And by the time you start up and you are employing people in your own business, in your own enterprise, and train other people, the state is monitoring. And that gives you a kind of relief when it comes to the taxes you pay to the state for operating from the state. So this
the monies given are given as loans or as grants.
The first money you are given to you as grants. It's for you to enable you start up what you have the skill of learned. Now, subsequently, there's a loan scheme that's being packaged based on your needs. It's not just the state now giving you the loan now. By the time you have a skill and you're doing very well in it, the Ministry of Youth help you to package your business activity that you wanted a loan for. Then you can now approach a commercial bank, a microfinance bank, to take a loan that you invest in your business, not for your luxury and
consumption.
Is to invest it in that business. And so that's the focus of the state. And this requires the fact that the orientation, the value orientation of the people are being worked on. And that is what Soludo is inspiring. That solution is providing in the state.
The Soludo solution, right?
Yeah, that's the solution it's providing in terms of what your hands can do.
Right.
You see, let me tell you something.
Right.
People go to the university, study maybe whatever they study, and they come out to go back to learn tailor and fashion design.
Yeah.
Now, why not train those people from the
very beginning?
You have a passion for fashion designing. Give me a certificate in fashion designing. Train him on diploma. Since Nigerians like certificate him in carpentry, certificate him in tie making, certificate him in shoemaking, certificate them in hair making, certificate them in catering. Soludo's daughter is into fashion and designing. She had up to master's degree, only to go back to go and try out what the hands can do, what the father is preaching. And yes, I'm saying now, the son is doing his 9 to 5 job, but he's into music, and all that. He didn't come into the state to come and become I'm the governor's son, and I'm the first son of the state. He's living his regular life, and the governor should be commended for acknowledging the fact that my son doesn't want to be in politics. He wants to live a regular life. He goes to his 9 o'clock job and 5 o'clock job and does his music, which is his passion. He encourages the child where he has the passion. And that's what we're talking about in Anambra State. If you know where you have that feel, where you have that passion, where you have that interest, that you will excel, let's encourage you to be the best in that field. And that's what the solution is all about. So you find that many young people today in Anambra State are keen up and getting that sense of values and moving towards what their hands can do. Because if your hand can produce nothing, there's nothing you can do with your hand. You are useless in the future economy. Because what the world needs from you now is what can you do? You come to a job employment, they ask you what value are you bringing on the table? What can you produce? What can you add to the table? What is in your head that you can make this Captain TV to be a better functioning organization? So it's not as if there's no job in Nigeria. There are jobs, only that we don't have people who are skilled to do those jobs. But when you have people who are skilled to do those jobs, you will find out that there's enough job to go around. Only that the skills are not there.
All right. Okay. Now, let me, just for somebody who probably is just joining, this is not entirely about Soludo, and this is important. We're talking about the elections that's about to hold in about 2 months' time there, but we're starting from this point because, of course, you start from the point of the known to the unknown, like they say, and also because we need to know what's on ground and what needs to be done. Where are the gaps? And before we begin to, because I do know that in this election of November 8, there are about 16 contestants, Soludo inclusive. And I do know that means that a lot of people are angling to take over his position. And if I may ask, what kind of election do you think we will be having in Anambra? Do you think it will have a free and fair election, free of violence, free of trouble, malpractices as much as possible? Of course, we're not talking zero malpractices, but I mean something that's of a very low scale.
First of all, Anambra State is known for peaceful election.
Oh, really?
Anambra State is known
for peaceful election.
Peaceful election.
Okay.
Elections in Anambra State have not been defined by violence.
And you don't think that it will happen?
And I don't think it will happen this time around. And the Anambra State election has measurably been free, fair, and to a very large extent credible, because it is a standalone election.
Okay,
so all eyes
are on them. And there's a surfeit of security.
The security
personnel
are all mobilized there. So most of the time, vote counts in Anambra, at least in the past 20 years. Vote counts in Anambra because it's a standalone election. And the voters in Anambra are very sophisticated and very intelligent. They know where to vote. These are not the kind of voters you come and say you are deceiving. I mean, they are very intelligent people, and no matter how you look at them, they may not be too rich like Hoflam, but they understand where they want to cast their vote. They understand the issues of what matters to them. And there are things that matter to the people of Anambra State. The things that matters to them are the infrastructures, the enabling environment, the enabling thrive in their business, their peace and security. These are what matters to them. The education of their children, the health care of their person. These are what matters to them.
Let me take you up on one of the things that you just admitted matters to them.
Yeah. And
that has to do with the security of lives and property in the state. We've had occasions where security of lives have been very terribly breached, and it looked as if the government or the governor has chosen to use a kind of a group that may not necessarily, maybe we don't understand it, and maybe you would help us, but that does not necessarily bring glory to the, does not embellish the image of the state in terms of how security is being run. And I do know that you understand what I'm saying.
Well, I don't understand, but then if I if I want to discuss security,
yes,
I will tell you that insecurity in Nigeria is widespread.
No. But we're localizing now.
Yes, we're localizing.
Yes.
But I want to first of all reiterate that insecurity is widespread in Nigeria. There's no house, there's no community, there's no state, there's no part of Nigeria that haven't gotten their own share of insecurity.
But we're not going to use that as a license.
Anambra has gotten its own share of insecurity.
Right.
And this were inherited insecurity that has been there before even this government came into place. But that's not an excuse. And the government is not complaining.
You need to shed some more light. What do you mean by inherited insecurity?
There has been insecurity in Anambra State before Soludo came to office.
Yes, but we are saying the whole essence of governance is... Okay.
I'm agreeing with you that there's occasional breaches of insecurity.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. We live in this state. There was even a time that it was like 1 week, one trouble.
Exactly.
And some people will say, what is the government doing? But they forgot that this government did what other government did not do. They refused to pay the bandits and the terrorists that are terrorizing the state. He refused to pay them because previously they were being paid. Don't terrorize us. The kind of thing people accuse the RFI of doing in Kaduna. The government came and said, I'm not going to pay 1 naira to these hoodlums that are living in the bush and coming out to terrorize people. He gave them an opportunity to leave the forest. You are not animals. Come out. We are going to give you skill. If you say that it's unemployment that's your problem, we are going to give you 2 skills that will make you fit into the society. He gave that window. And some of them took the opportunity. Many of them did not. And then the government, there was more than 60 camps. Some local governments were inaccessible when he came into office. And he began to dismantle these camps. And you know these camps, you dismantle them today, they go to another place and they regroup. And because he refused to pay, they were trying to prove a point that we're going to make this state ungovernable for you until we bend you. And he refused to be bended. And eventually he came up when he now got up fed up with them and the windows has closed for you to surrender and come and fit into the society. The government launched the Operation Udo Gachi. Udo Gachi. Peace must reign.
Okay.
And then from the Agony Chamber vigilante group. Now, when people begin to complain, you know, when you fight crime and corruption, when you fight all the violent crime, they fight back. Because these are sponsored by also people who are wealthy, who have some interest.
I think the point at which people... sorry.
Let me because my thought process.
All right, okay.
Now, these are also sponsored by some people that are behind the scene. Some of them hide under agitation of self-determination, Biafra, all this. If you catch a criminal that has committed a violent crime, he said that he's a Biafran agitator. I mean, Biafran agitator doesn't include you killing people, you doing organ harvesting, you kidnapping people. That is not the Biafran agitation, for God's sake. And when you clamp down on them, some people will rise up and say human rights of human beings. But when they are committing all these atrocities, you don't think that the people that they are maiming and harming are also human beings. And every crime is local. We have already had vigilante services in Anambra State, community vigilantes. You cannot solve any crime, violent crime like we have it in the state, without local people participating in cleaning up the urgent stable. People must be involved at the community level. The traditional rulers must be involved. The trade unions must be involved. The individuals, the communities must be involved. If you see something, you say something. Then the state comes in. So what the state did was simply to energize the existing local vigilantes. It's not as if there was any new thing that was done. Because like I said, the local vigilantes has always been there. In my own community, we have our local vigilante, which is being paid salary by the state, even before Soludo came into office. So what actually happened now is that it was reorganized to become more effective, to be able to deal with the current level of high-stake insecurity. Their salaries got increased. The condition of their work got improved. the sphere of their influence and what they can do got expanded, in the sense that it's not just to man the communities, man the forest too, because it is claimed that these people live in the forest, but actually in the day they go to the forest, but they come back home to sleep at their houses in the night. So these are members of the communities, and when they mix up with the community knows them. But it's for the community to give the intelligence that will enable the state to work. They're like what is happening all over the world. When the fish is inside the water, it's difficult to catch the fish. But when it's out of water, you can catch the fish. When they mix with the society, you can identify who is who. Instead, the community that knows their son tells you this man is a kidnapper, is a killer. You won't know, because you didn't see you carrying gun in the day. You didn't see you carrying gun in the society or else anybody. But it is people still know, because every father knows his child. So what we have been able to do in Anambra State is to make sure that the community takes ownership of the security of their community. The traditional rulers and the town union president generals of the town union and the people, they become owners of their security, and the individual persons. And I thought what they already know that they were doing. If you see something, you say something. Even in England, the old women that are pensioners, the old men that are pensioners that doesn't go to work, they sit by their window side. They watch everybody that passes across. And if they don't think you're not a familiar face or you're behaving somehow, they go pick their phone quietly and call the police. There's somebody that just passed, that the way he's behaving, I'm not sure that he means well. Then before you know it, the police will arrive. Because they see something, they say something. I remember growing up, when you pass an elder in my place, he will ask one question. When you say good afternoon, he say good afternoon. He say, my son, who is your father again? That's the way they greet you.
Who is that your father again?
Yeah, who is that your father again? Whose
son are you?
Whose son are you? You introduce yourself. Oh, I'm the son of Aguiyi of so and so village. You say, I know your father. That's how you used to be then. But right now, people don't care. They see strangers with dreadlocks and saggy bag in their community. They don't care. They just ignore you and they go away. Even the child will be using of alcohol and Indian hemp. They don't care anymore. But in those days, they care. They ask you a question. Oh, good afternoon, my son. Whose son are you again? You introduce yourself. And they got relaxed and calm. So when anything happens, they're able to say, I saw the son of this person pass through here some few minutes ago. I hope it is not him that did what we are talking about now. This is how the community was. And we are trying to go back to the area because we lost our track. We lost our track of being our brother's keeper, being our neighbor's friend. A lot of people doesn't know, even in the village now, who is their neighbor. You don't know who is their neighbor.
All right. Let me just let's take it back a little. In the days of I think it was Governor Mbadinuju. Yes. That was ever before Obi, ever before all these others. There was this group also, I think, that was empowered by the governor, and who ended up killing people in Bakassi boys.
Okay.
Good. Now, I believe that the fear that is being expressed in certain quarters is that what you call the Agune Chamber vigilante was turned into something of a version of Bakassi boys in the way they clamped down on a number of...
that's not correct.
So what's correct?
That's not correct.
What's correct?
The Bakassi boys cannot be compared to Agune Chamber. The Agune Chamber is a group enabled by law. There's a law on security in Anambra State.
Good.
That establishes Agune Chamber.
Yeah, but
Agune Chamber, like I said,
when they descend on people and clamp down, and,
I don't think there's anybody that's going about his business. Agune Chamber will clamp on you.
Of course, no.
No, they will
but
not.
Even then, don't we all agree? Especially because you're a practitioner of the law.
Yes,
don't we all agree that people should enjoy fair hearing even before any judgment is passed on them?
Of course, that Agune Chamber is not a court. They're not a trial court. They're not working in isolation. They're working with the police. The police is overwhelmed. The police admit that almost all the operations they've been able to successfully carry out, they did it in collaboration with Aguiyi Esq, with the local vigilantes.
Including killings?
Who kills who? I don't understand what you mean by including killings. Of course, if there is a shootout between two armed groups, there may be fatality. But nobody wakes up in the morning in Aguiyi Esq to go and want to kill somebody. They go on operation. If they attack, what do you want them to do? Not to retaliate. If you go to the north, where you have banditries everywhere, don't you have the local hunters? Are we not calling on Benue people that are being killed every day to form local vigilantes to protect themselves? And like I said, in everywhere in the southeast and in the south, don't you have what do you call them, a Moteko in the southwest? These are local vigilantes that are complementing the work of the police and the army. And the police and the army are happy to work with them because they are disciplined. They are not like a kind of group that you don't know. They have always been there. I told you the difference between what the Aguiyi Esq we have now and what we have before now is that they are now more equipped, more energized, and more proactive in responding to crime. That is just the difference. He has put in more money in terms of equipping them, enabling them to perform that duty that performing for the community. And any community that doesn't have local vigilante, with the present kind of crime we have in Nigeria today, that community is gone, completely gone. Completely gone. What we should even be talking is that the other states should go and copy the Anambra State security law and implement what Anambra is implementing. Because let me tell you,
all right,
when Aguiyi Esq came on stream, we had what we called also Soludo. A lot of criminals began to run away from Anambra State, running to Lagos, from running as far as to Togo and Ghana. They started running away because the root cause of the problems were being also addressed, which has to do with the native doctors that we are preparing for them and making them feel that we are invisible, and they bring them back, they rob, they kidnap, they bring back their loot or whatever they have got in process of the crime to the native doctor shrine, and they kill they continue doing it, whatever they are doing, and they begin to run from the state. They began to run from the state, and that is what every other state should be copying and emulating. If all of them can run away to Ghana and run away to wherever, or stop their evil acts, the state will be safe.
Tell us, there's something I think that the state government did concerning native doctors, whether to get some kind of what is that now, like formalized or something, or there was a window that was given, or that they should come out or something. There was something like that.
The governor was not against, and is not against people that are practicing traditional religion,
okay,
or even native doctors.
Yeah,
native medicine is part of our culture,
right?
But there are proliferation of native doctors who claim to do all kinds of diabolical things that makes you get rich, and this will deceiving the young people, making them feel that they can become rich
overnight
without working and sweat. And these young people got deceived. Some of them were even using their own parents for ritual. There was even a story of a mother and the father that sacrificed one of their child to make the other one to get rich. There are many kinds of things that were going on. As I was coming to your studio, I was just on the news, say horror in Olo. What was the horror? Some group of prayer band went to go and pray in a bush for 3 years fasting so that they can get their problems resolved. 3
days.
3 days fasting.
Okay, I thought
and they went to a lonely forest area to go and pray. And they did their prayers, did their fasting. On the third day to break their fasting, they were descended upon by some armed group. About 50 of these people were killed.
Just now?
Yes, about 50 were killed in Olo in Imo State.
Yes, I know.
About 50 were killed, and their body mutilated, their organs harvested. This is happening in Nigeria, and I was just hearing it on the news. And they were still demanding ransom from the family of the prophetess. When they contacted the police, asked them to play along. That was how eventually one or two of them were arrested. And they began to confess. And what you see in the video, what you hear is horrifying. And you ask yourself, how did we end up having beasts as human beings among us? How do we end up with this kind of horrible creatures, total animals in our society that do not care about killing their fellow human beings, that do not care about killing you because they want to take away your organs, or they want to kill you for ritual purposes? I mean, how do we end up like this? This is not the society I grew up in, and this is not the kind of society I'm preparing for the future of my own children. So they took the right step by trying to address the root cause. What is it that's making these young people of today to become what they have become? Who told you that you can become a billionaire without working, without sweat? Was that how Koscielny they made their money? Was that how Ekene they made their money? Was that how Ojukwu they make Louis Ojukwu they made their money to become the richest man? Is that what Igbo land was? It is not. It is not. If you want to make it in life, you want to be a success in any sphere of life you want to undertake, whether it is in education, whether it is in medicine, whether it is in law, whether it is in trading and commerce, of which we are known for, you have to be able to invest your time and energy to be able to make yourself better and excel in that very area. And that's the orientation, that's the value we are talking about. And that is what Soludo, when he comes into government, begin to talk about, begin to preach the values. These are the values to go to refocus on, so that we can change what has been destroyed in the consciousness of our young people.
You seem to believe so much in the Soludo solution package that I doubt whether you think that the other candidates have any chance in this forthcoming election. And we have 15 of them aside from Soludo.
Well, we have, let me put it this way. If this is where things are done very well, some of the people that are contesting shouldn't be contesting this election.
Why?
Because they don't have a pathway to winning.
They don't have a pathway?
A pathway to winning. I will explain to you.
Okay, please.
I will explain to you. You see, if a governor is doing well, and you don't have any better alternative than what the governor is doing, why are you distracted?
What makes you think they don't have a better alternative?
But this is democracy. Democracy is such a beautiful concept that it even allows fools to contest, and the worst can even contest. So people are free to contest. That's why it is democracy. I'm not against those that are contesting, but you say there are probably 16 political parties.
Yeah, exactly.
And
16 candidates.
And 16 candidates. I don't even know who are the 16 candidates. I only know maybe a few of them.
Let's hear the ones you know.
The ones I know is the one that is running under APC. Nicholas Okachukwu. Fine gentleman, a good businessman, philanthropist, and has achieved it in life.
So,
and I know also of Chief Jude Ezenwafo of PDP. He's a fine gentleman, accomplished a lot in life at a very young age. We have John Woos of ADC, nice gentleman, educated. We have George Moralo of Labour Party.
Okay, and formerly of
ANPP, then APC, and now Labour Party candidate. We have people like Paul Chukwuma, nice gentleman. I just attended his call to bar. Good businessman, and he's on under YPP. You understand? But I look at this whole candidates that
you have described them very
yes,
very
nice gentlemen. I know them almost
and yet you say that the list is made up of a number of persons who should have no business at all contesting. Are these some of them that you think should not be contesting at all?
I feel if they have sought my advice, which they didn't, but if they have sought my own advice, if they have consulted widely, because in other climes, when you want to run a public election, you engage consultants. They do a research. they will tell you whether there is chances or not. And if they tell you there are chances, they tell you how the chances are. What am I going to do to realize those chances? If they also be able to say, okay, this is what you require to do it. Now you have a governor that has performed astoundingly well. And you have a governor that has redefined governance in Anambra State. You have a governor that has made a remarkable improvement in infrastructure in Anambra State. I think we have almost all communities in Anambra State are linked with very solid roads under Soludo. We have a governor that invested in education. Like I told you, he employed at ago 5,000 teachers and later another 3,000 teachers. We have a governor that has been able to produce the primary health center that has won all that can be won in Nigeria in terms of competition. And they won a couple of $1 million for the best primary health care in Nigeria. In Anambra State, antenatal childbirth is free. It's free. You want to go and have a child in Anambra State, it is free.
Even if he has to go through surgery?
If you have to go through surgery, you have to do it in the government hospital.
And it's super free.
And it's free. So this is approved, and there is no government hospital in almost every local government in the state. There are primary health center in almost every ward in the state. And they are well equipped with mama's kit that you go and give. And when I say free, I mean free. It's not the type you go and born and they will tell you, oh, we needed this cotton wool. Oh, this one you didn't bring. No, you don't bring anything. Just come and have your child free. If anybody takes, some midwives have been sacked because they want to see from behind, collect money. The government is handsome on this thing that is policy, because they believe in the welfare, in the health of the people. A healthy state is a wealthy state. And if you're well, you don't add burden on the state budget anymore. So he tried to put Anambra on that pedestal whereby citizens are healthy, they are gainfully employed, and contributing immensely to the growth of the state. Because it is only a working citizen that you will be able to tax. You cannot tax people who are not working because it tax on profits. So the government is dealing with those things. And that's when you talk about when people say about the Dubai, because we have explained Taiwan to mean what your hands can do. And this, they generate the legion and millions of unemployed graduates over the years cannot be wiped out overnight. It's a process that is going on and yielding results. And you talk about the Dubai. Anambra before now, it was like a transit place. Nobody wants to come. Insecurity everywhere. Nobody wants to come. When you are coming, what are you coming to do? Now he created he began the urban regeneration, whereby he clean up the environment. Let the small that you have even be clean. Let the gutters, the sewage be flowing freely. Let the roads be clean and traffic and lessen traffic congestion in almost all the cities and the nook and crannies. Let people move freely, And then he began to build the things that will make people want to come. The solution leisure park, and then other people try to make a mockery of the fact that why is he building a leisure park when there are industries to be built? Even if you build all the industries, you still need leisure, because leisure, holiday, vacation is part of work ethics. You can't work all your life without having moment of recreation. Why did people establish Disneyland in Florida and in Paris? Why do Nigeria have to enter plane to go to Paris? No, you don't need to go to Paris. You go to Anambra, because Anambra had an equivalent of Disney in Paris and they're Florida. That's what they had created there. Then you have the ICC, and it's building the 5-star hotel, the first 5-star hotel in Anambra State.
The first.
Now, you see, the Nigerian Bar Association just finished hosting
in Enugu
the bar conference in Enugu.
Yeah.
I'm from Osigwe from Anambra State. If Anambra has the facility to host such a conference, I'm from Osigwe will be very happy to bring it to his home state and take the credit. But he could not, because we do not have the kind of facility that can host 20,000 lawyers. Do you know what that could have meant to the economy of the state? Now, with the 5-star hotel being built, complementing the individual private hotels in the state, who can host MBA. We can host the medical association. We can host the estate surveyors. We can host we can host any UJ. That is what we are looking at, so that Anambra will become a destination. And so right now we have the International Conference Center built by the Philippines. We have the airport. Now these are connecting the dots. We have the the master plan of the Anambra rail line that will run from Onitsha down to Nnewi, Kulobia, connecting Oka. It's already out. It's already the video have been done. It is main implementation. That is why we are even talking about this second tenure, so that these things are put in place. That is the Dubai, when you're able to create the infrastructures that will enable people to come. Why do people go to Dubai if not to holiday? That's the Dubai, and this is what he created. Anambra for the first time is having a befitting government house called the Lighthouse.
Yeah,
that's
maybe. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you. In all of this, what exactly will be the real legacy project that, if you were to leave today, what would he regard as his legacy project?
Professor Charles Soludo, in the past 3 years and more, has been able to lay a very solid foundation of legacy. And even if he leaves today, people will, by their own mouth, speak about the road infrastructures that he has built.
Road infrastructures.
Okay. And these road infrastructures is not just focused in Anambra South or Anambra Central or North. There are places that have not seen a third road before. They have double carriage now. The whole of Anambra are linked up. That's the vision of the solution government. That's the vision in terms of road infrastructure. If Soludo leaves today, people will remember that there was a governor that came and cleaned up the state that used to be the dirty state. Go to Onitsha. I'm not saying it because we're on studio here. Go to Onitsha. In fact, go on Monday, which is the sit at home day. Are you something? And you will see a beautiful city. You want to take pictures.
Yes.
You see flowers. You see water fountains. You see all the ornaments in place.
That has always been.
You begin to ask yourself, was this the Onitsha that was known for pyramids of debts?
Of refuse.
Well, everything gone in 3 years. It's unbelievable. But he was able to do that. And had been prudent in managing the resources of the state. The state is not borrowing, neither is he owing anybody. Do you know the amount of debt? Do you know the amount of debt that the state inherited when this government came? But do you know the arrears of pensions and salaries that was being owed in Anambra State? But when he came in, he cleared all these things. And nobody can say
you have painted a picture of perfection. Like if a new governor comes, he won't even have any job to do.
No.
Because let me say this. I think that I recognize Nicholas Ukachukwu as the proprietor of this FAB estates in Abuja. Is it?
No, Prince and Princess.
Or Prince and, is it Prince and Princess?
Prince and Princess, yes.
Good. So if somebody has had vision to do some of those kind of things and has succeeded, you also said accomplished man. You think that there's nothing fresh that some of those people, and I'm not promoting any one of them, I'm just saying, you think that none of those persons can bring something fresh to the table?
If there is anything fresh, any of them can bring to the table.
Yes.
By now they should be telling the people, this is what fresh I'm going to bring to the table. This is the moment to tell the people.
Yes.
This is what fresh I am bringing. I have listened to their messages. Their messages do not resonate with me. Neither does it resonate with the people. They are not addressing.
Do you represent the people?
No, I'm coming. Of course, I'm part of the people. And I also interview the people. I've done my own review and research impassionately, not because of anybody. Because I wanted to know what are the chances of Soludo making it back. And what are the chances of this person coming in? One, APC, even though we are all progressives, all of us are progressive, both APGA and APC are progressives. But I will tell you also that there is Anambra is APGA land and APGA is Anambra, because in the past 20 years, 8 years of P2B, it was Anambra, it was APGA. 8 years of Obiano, it was APGA. Now 4 years of Soludo, so APGA. And each of these administrations has brought tremendous and progressive progressive politics and leadership in the state. But the only difference is that Soludo has taken it to a new level.
Now,
Now, APC with their mangled broom cannot sweep clean in Anambra State, where APGA is entrenched. Now, you go to PDP, they are simply unavailable in the equation because Chief Jude Ezewafo, like I said, a fine gentleman, but PDP is almost like, in fact, the umbrella is leaking all over Nigeria, not to talk of Anambra State. In fact, they are unavailable to even say that they are even part of this election. PDP is like I'm coming. PDP is like a ghost of itself. Now, is it the PDP like a ghost of itself that will come and win Anambra State? The answer is no. You go to Labour Party. Look at the crisis in Labour Party. George Mahali is a fine gentleman. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not disagreeing with that. But he's the party that is confused. They don't even know whether their principal is for Labour or ADC. Because in the last by-election, the candidate, the principal.
You're talking at the federal. You're talking at the national.
I said the principal, the face of Labour.
Yes.
In Nigeria.
Yes.
Was campaigning ADC in the just concluded by-election, which they lost woefully. And people in Labour are not even sure whether they are Labour or ADC. I understand the Labour Party George Moral wanted Jude Wos to step down for him. That one said, I'm not stepping down for anybody. I'm in this election to win also. And I said, people that are confused, that don't even know where to cast their vote. Yeah, is it them that will come and win? The YPP gentleman is, like I said, a nice guy, a very good fellow. You understand what I'm saying? But does he have the capacity to defeat Soludo? The answer is no. So this election that is coming up is only this election to either win or lose. It is only him that will decide to lose it, because the people is already 70% ahead in terms of his achievements, in terms of what he has done. And barring any other circumstances, I don't see anyhow he will not win the election. I don't see what to make. People are with him. In fact, he's at the peak of his own momentum in the race, that I don't even see the competitor. That's why I say, if it is where people consult, some of them that are running shouldn't be running the election.
Let's see how much.
Even some of them, let me tell you, even some of them that are even running this election, their deputies are even more sound and sagacious than them. But the deputy does not drive the election. Who drives the election is the principal candidate.
Yes.
And they're not there. They're not driving the issues. I can't see them. It's not me that will tell them the issues.
But we've seen that even at the national level.
Well, we're talking about the Anambra election. I'm telling you that in the Anambra election today, as it is, if the election is casted today, Soludo will coast home free. It's a sure bet.
It's a sure bet.
Sure bet.
Coming from you.
Sure bet.
Well, that's on record and viewers are watching.
Sure bet.
Now, let's take two quick issues. Or do we take a break briefly and then let's just take a breather. Let's just take a breather, and then when we get back, maybe we can also invite viewers to call in. Let's take a break. All right, welcome back, viewers. We've been talking about the Anambra election, and my guest here beats his chest that he has a sure bet on Soludo coasting home to victory without let or hindrance. Well, just some 2 months from now, we will know whether that bet will sail through. And my guest has been Clem Aguiyi, and we go further a little, and just in case you're interested, please do call in. The number is still the same that we use here, 08029938365. If that's too fast, I'll take it slowly. 08029938365. It's on the screen right now. Please do call in. Okay, we have the first person already. They are interested in having a say on this. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Jibrin.
Jibrin from where?
Abuja.
All right, go ahead, Jibrin.
I'd like to say thanks to that doctor of children. You know, in Nigeria, there's need for changing our mind. In Nigeria, the only thing that goes up that comes down is prick. So it's your prick. If you go up, at sometimes it go down.
Okay.
But Nigeria, anything go up, it will not come down.
Okay.
Yes, the problem in Nigeria, who can tell me in any election that the ruling party will not take the local government and councillors? In election, unless they touch INEC, unless they touch security, unless the people that are on the seat, anything they do, they tell us how they do it. Not that if somebody do one road, another person will come and say you do this road. Look at it in another edge. Some governors are paying security more than the federal government security. Okay, any election there is an accuse of using security. Okay, look at it. And the federal security that conduct election, how do you get it through? I know somebody is trying, but if they're changing on how, you can see another improvement.
All right, Jibrin, thank you. I think your point is well made, yeah? That, like I tried to put across the other time, there's no perfect person that some small other, areas, there won't be areas where he probably has not done too well. But of course, if that's who you're interested in, of course, that's what you speak of his goodness. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yemi Asagi is my name.
I didn't hear the name.
Yemi Asagi.
Oh, good to have you, sir. How are you doing today?
Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
All right.
I have two questions, short questions for our guest.
All right.
Sir, which of the APGA-produced governors that have ruled Anambra State will you say is a role model to Professor Soludo? That is the first question. Then the second question is this: how much sleepless night is Peter Obi giving to Professor Soludo in the forthcoming election?
Should they give him sleepless night? Okay, answer it.
Well, let me begin from the last one.
Yeah.
If Soludo is having sleepless night, it is not because of Peter Obi. If you're having sleepless night, it is a sleepless night that he's having because of what he wants to do to make the state better.
All right.
Me and you can go to bed and sleep very well. That is what I believe that can give him sleepless night. Okay. Otherwise, he's running for governor. P2B is running for president.
They are not on the same track at all.
They're not on the same track.
Yeah.
And I will tell you something that happened recently. The P2B camp said he's taking a back seat temporarily from active political activities on the advice of his doctors. That's welcome. But I want to believe that he understood the policy of Anambra State, that once you are not on the ballot, you don't count so much. If Soludo is on the ballot, is the one that counts. What counts to them? That's why I say that they are very sophisticated and intelligent voters. If you put yourself forward and you're not the one on the ballot and the election is lost, you destroy your brand. So I think he just played a stunt to make him remove himself from the pending political crush that will happen across all the polling units. Because Anambra people, no polling unit will be left behind. APGA is not taking hostages. They are the one that is running the state. Even P2B supporters are APGA people. They are the one that is holding the state. And they understand when Peter is on the ballot and when Soludo is on the ballot. And as far as this election is concerned, the person on the ballot is Soludo. APGA is out, energized. The base are excited. What we are talking about is not whether they will win. What we are talking about is how many millions of votes will they be able to throw out and mobilize for this election.
Honestly, Professor Soludo doesn't need a better manager for his media campaign than these guys that I have.
No. Let me tell you, whatever I'm saying here, I'm saying it from an informed opinion. I'm saying it because I did my research. I conducted my review, and when I was doing my review, I was doing it dispassionately. When I conducted my research, I was doing it dispassionately, irrespective of whomever, because I will not be doing him any favor to come on television and sing his praise if he's not doing very well. And I will not be doing any of the candidates any favor if I come and tell you you don't win when I know that you cannot win. I can't see the pathway.
All right. Maybe you should take the other question.
Yeah, the other question again, if you can remind me of what the question was.
Yeah, he said, is there any who among the ABGA governors before him is a role model to him? That is before Soludo is a role model to Soludo.
Thank you very much. You see, all ABGA has produced leadership in Anambra State for the past 20 years, if you include Soludo's time now. Yeah. Past 20 years. I'm talking about 8 years of Peter Obi. 8 years of Obiano. 8 years of 4 years of Soludo now that is right. He's going for re-election.
That's 20.
A referendum on his own achievement or scorecard. The people in the state will be going to. In fact, this election that's coming up is like a referendum for Governor Soludo. Every ABGA governor is unique in his own sphere. Peter Obi has his own style of governance and made his own kind of progress for the state and left his own mark in his own unique way. Nobody can be Peter Obi. Obiano came, and it was Obiano, even though the Obi was also in his name. But he left his own mark, provided his own leadership, built the International Conference Center, built the Anambra Airport, was able to put infrastructure in every community choose your project. He was his own kind of leader. So Soludo came with his own kind of vision, anchored on 5 pillars of governance. And that 5 pillars of governance is his manifesto. And he's following it like a Bible. What he has promised people is what he's doing. And it's promise made, promise delivered. And he will always say, we are doing by learning. Where there were hiccups and where there are challenges, he will always do self-correction. Because we are learning by doing. You understand what I'm saying now? So that what you have on paper may not go well.
Exactly.
And this is the man that is conscious of that.
Right.
This is the man that is very conscious of that. And it's not about anybody being anybody's role model. But is he making progress from where Obi stopped and where Obi are not stopped? Yes, he's making progress. Will he solve all the problems? No, he will not. Even if
very good.
He will not.
It's important to make
that. That's why there was the other government that will come after him. But right now, he needs to connect the dots and leave the stage on a stellar form, because the visions are not fully realized.
Okay.
So some foundation has been laid, progress has been made, but we need to those ones that he anchored on. He needs to put all the dots and put all the lines and make it. So after the 8 years, he leaves. Other person will come and continue from where he stopped.
All right. Now, I'll take you up on just 2 issues. Now, this same governor, you have painted a picture of ABGA, Anambra, like they are co-joined. Okay, ABGA is synonymous with Anambra, or Anambra is synonymous with ABGA. Yet, this same governor, just recently, in what some people have called a sellout, gave loyalty to the APC leader, saying to him that come 2027, they will be solidly behind him. How does that speak of Anambra synonymous with ABGA, and how does that represent the people? How does that represent the people? Is that representative of the feelings and the sentiments of the people of that state?
Well, the governor made his own statements, and of course we all agree that APC is all progressive Congress, right? ABGA is also All Progressive Grand Alliance, All Progressives. They know that.
Also, no. There's a difference between the two.
I'm answering your question.
It's just like when you said, even though Obi is in Obiano and all that, I know that there's a difference between Obi and Obi. Abi, there's a difference between Obi and Obi.
But they're in their own unique form. What I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say, we're all progressives, and but APGA is older than the APC, so we're their senior brother in Anambra State, and it's not about selling out to anybody. APGA has a policy from P2B, who was the first APGA governor, of supporting the center. Obi was not opposed to PDP. He wasn't opposed to any of the PDP presidents of Abuja, because you need Abuja to also fund give you some projects for the betterment of your people. So we do APGA in Anambra State, and then at the center, we support the government at the center. This is not. Zododo is not. This
is not about supporting the government at the center. This is about a promissory note that has to do with the election in 2027.
Of course, let me tell you, I said that from P to B. Listen, pay attention to what I'm saying.
Yes.
APGA has always supported the government at the center. This is not the first time an APGA governor was given a promissory note to the person at the center. It is a policy of the party, because we're not at the center. I will have cake to share at the center. I will need to get our own share of the cake. What does it profit any APGA governor to start fighting the center when you are supposed to?
Nobody is talking about a fight.
No. He gave a promissory note to the man at the center. Are you understand what I'm saying now? Do you understand what I'm saying? Based on his reforms, which he believes is the right reforms, that is, if sustained consistently and if added a human face, that this is going to transform Nigeria. And there's no doubt about that. President Bola Tinubu has taken some steps that are bold to transform Nigeria. And sometimes these transformations or these steps could be hurtful in the beginning. But what we're talking about is add a human face and make it sustainable and consistent, so that we don't go back to square one again after we have suffered. If we are suffering today for a better tomorrow, I don't think there's any problem about that. That's why people make sacrifices, so that they can have a better tomorrow. And if based on the policies as it is on paper, and that if this can be well implemented, that we can get Nigeria working, why not? If not, and when 2027 comes around, it is going to be Bola Ahmed Tinubu's referendum and scorecard.
All right, we have just very few minutes to go, and so I'll just rush in these two questions. Recently, the government came up with the signages, adverts, or whatever bill that was looking like a deliberate ploy to frustrate some of the parties. You have also told that part, saying that some of those parties should just have gone to sleep. And so maybe that's the thinking behind the promulgation of that bill, where humongous amounts were put in place for people to pay to be able to display their billboards and all that. How do you react to that?
Now, I'll tell you, even in the United States, most of the campaign funds that people generate goes into the media and advertising. Nigeria is a place where people generate campaign funds. Instead of putting it where they should put it, they put it in their pocket and waiting to fail. What is 50 million naira to enable you put your adverts across the state? It's a kind of revenue for the state. If people are selling Christmas chicken at a higher cost during Christmas, it's because of the demand. If people are selling rice more expensive during Christmas, it's because of the demand.
So that justifies selling
the
adverts at higher rates because election is around the corner.
Of course, now, because there's demand for it now, so you get the revenue that you needed from them. APGA has paid their own. If you cannot get 50 million,
even if that looks like strangulating the parties.
How will 50 million strangulate you if you want to run for government election? If you are not House of Assembly, or councillor spend more than 50 million naira to run an election in Nigeria. You are talking about governor, and you want to run governor.
Aren't we all complaining that there's too much money involved in our politics?
No. The money we are talking about is not the money that you spend on the media. You have to spend money in the media and advertising for you to be able to showcase what you are doing. That's not it. And the money is even no money compared to what Lagos State government charges.
No, you can't compare the two states.
I'm telling you that during every election cycle, most states signage agencies see that as opportunity to be able to make their money, because after that there's nobody that needs their signage maybe for the next 4 years. So it's a revenue to be able to get themselves more equipment and more stabilized.
So it's more of an economic tool rather than it's not a political gimmick.
No, forget about it.
To try to frustrate some parties.
No, it's not that. I said no, forget about that. It happens every election season, and I tell you why. It is the source of revenue for the department, for the government to be able to before what they have not. You understand what I'm saying now? It's just like somebody that sells a particular product that only goes to market during Christmas. I mean, if you don't sell it during the Christmas, you have to wait for another 1 year. So this one again is another election cycle. Just before we go, shed some light on what really transpired, because for a Soludo, former governor of Central Bank, who is known to be this academic giant and all that, most people believe that he would want to have transparency in management of government revenues and abide by whatever is the federalism principle in the distribution of funds. But we saw a situation where it looks like strong arm tactics were also being used in Anambra State to wring out the finances of the local government areas from their grip. Well, if I understand where you're going to, you are talking about the Anambra State law.
Yeah.
On local government, right?
Yes.
Of course, it is the State House of Assembly that makes laws on management of local government finances and appropriation. And if that very policy is backed by law, then why do we complain about that? It is the law. The constitution is very clear.
No.
Excuse me.
What's the ground norm? The ground norm
is the constitution.
Very good. And is that not in
the constitution says? Excuse me. The constitution provided for joint account for local governments and states. Are you as I'm saying that?
Yeah.
Is there in the constitution? The Supreme Court did not abolish JAC. JAC is there. If the National Assembly doesn't like JAC existence, they take a step to abolish JAC. But I'm saying again, the constitution also said that the House of Assembly has a responsibility to oversight local government accounts and administration. They came up with a law, which is a state law. And if they came up with that law, which is a state law, I don't see anything wrong with that if it is backed by law. You understand? It's not about ringing. And don't forget again that some of these local governments, you see, sometimes we have to be wary of what we even seek for and ask for. Some of these local government elections threw up people who are not even interested in providing that accountable leadership. I cannot just leave them alone.
Please. I don't think we should tread that path.
We should tread that path.
No. If people have willingly given their vote to such persons, you can't come and hijack the power through the back door. No, but if you hijack their finances,
in Anambra State,
have you not hijacked their power?
In Anambra State, no governor, nobody hijacked their powers. I said whatever policy that is in place today by Anambra State government is a policy backed by law.
Don't we have bad laws?
If you have bad laws, you change it. That's why you should have to be able to vote for good legislators. That's why you should be able to have citizens' awareness and consciousness, so that citizens can be able to promote what affects them. Like I told you, there are things that matters to people in Anambra State.
This doesn't matter?
No, local government admission matters to everybody.
Okay.
It matters to everybody. But if citizens are aware, it's the citizens that will force their members of House of Assembly to actually change the laws that are bad and not to make bad laws. And that's what I'm trying to express to you. The important thing there, what you have to be focused on is not about sentiment. I said the actions you are referring to are they backed by law?
Even if they are backed by a bad law.
If they are backed by a bad law, what do you do to a bad law? Complain about it and do nothing to change it. We are backed by a bad law. Complain about it and take steps to change it. That's why I have the House of Assembly. Let them change it. They made the law. It's not the government that made the law. It's the House of Assembly that made the law. It may be an executive bill, but they have right to say that they don't want it. And they have right also to change it if it's not working properly. But the action is backed by law.
So last line.
As a lawyer, and I will not ask you to go against the law.
Last line. November 8th is almost here already. What do you think will be? You've said something like that already. So, but what do you? Let's have it a reiteration. You think that by the evening of November 8th or by 9th or worst case scenario 10th, Soludo will be announced as governor-elect again?
I've told you here, and I'll repeat again.
Yeah.
November 8th, Soludo is a sure bet. It's his own day with history. By the evening or early morning of November 9 or late November 8th, there'll be celebration in some areas, in some quarters, in some camps. There'll be mourning.
There'll be gnashing of teeth.
In
some places. That's normal.
But at the end of the day, every camp will come and take their stock and say, how far did you go? How did we get to this point? And like I said, in Anambra, it's one family. There's nobody fighting with anybody.
You've spoken so well on behalf of the governor. I hope I can get somebody from the other side also who will come and speak for themselves. Especially somebody like Ukachukwu and maybe George Morgan.
I wish you can have me and them in the studio.
No, we didn't have them and you when you came.
But what I'm trying to say is this: of course you are free to do that. But let me tell you, even the roads in Anambra that was built, even the grasses, even the fishes in Anambra River, even the birds in the sky will testify that this is
okay, thank you. Now, thank you so very much, wonderful people. Thank you for staying tuned to Kaftan TV and watching this edition of The Polity. Even if I had to rate this is one of the most, well, okay, you rate it for us. And thank you very much for staying tuned. And please do stay tuned to Kaftan TV forever, because tomorrow by this time again there will be Polity, and in the evening there will be Matters Arise, and I invite you to join me. It's from 8 to 9. My guest has been Clem Aguiyi, Dr. Esquire, and he's a legal practitioner, a politician, and a public affairs analyst, and you can see his prowess is in articulating issues. So let me also say thank you to my production team. Thank you so very much, Ihanya and the group. Thank you. God bless you. And it's bye-bye from me, Dayo Omogun.